The Farm at Lane's End, Chapter 42. Vocabulary and Phrases. To take something up means to start something. I have decided to take up jogging. A pretty penny. A pretty penny means lots of money or very expensive. When the penny drops is the moment you really understand something. To bite off more than one can chew is to start something that is too big or too complicated to succeed in. If you have a loose screw, means you are a little bit crazy. And now to our story. The Farm at Lane's End, Chapter 42. Jean has heard an interesting program on the radio. Now the Bartons are discussing it over breakfast. I say, Dave and Ken, I heard an interesting program on the radio last night. It was all about hobbies. Apparently, interesting people have interesting hobbies, and boring people have boring hobbies. What is an interesting hobby, Jean? What do you think, Dave? A good hobby is having an interest in something that interests you, like stamp collecting or horse riding. You're right, Dave, but sometimes interesting hobbies can be a disaster. One day, Uncle Andy decided to take up motor racing as a new hobby. He bought himself a very fast car which cost him a pretty penny. Then the rest he believed would be easy. He entered one or two races. He believed he'd soon be very rich with all the money he was going to win. But then the penny dropped, and he hadn't even thought about the extra costs involved in his new hobby. He had bitten off more than he could chew. And to cut a long story short, Andy sold his car and took up stamp collecting instead. That reminds me of my sister Jane. She decided to take up flower arranging. She thought she was going to win all the flower arranging prizes in England, but she had no idea of what she was doing, and she soon gave up flower arranging. Has Claire got a hobby, Dave? Claire's hobby is art photography. She even won a prize in an art photography competition. She entered a photo of a black square on a black background. It was the most amazing picture I've ever seen. Of course, most normal people don't understand high art. Claire's sister said that Claire had a loose screw. But Claire's sister hadn't the faintest idea of what she was talking about. Claire's sister believes that good art is a still life showing a bunch of bananas. Guess what's for afternoon tea? Cherry cake? No, this afternoon we're having scones with clotted cream and strawberry jam. But don't worry, I'm making a cherry cake tomorrow. Mum, you're the best mum in the world. And now some questions. Jean was listening to the radio. What was the program about? From your point of view, What is an interesting hobby? Which hobby did Andy take up? Why didn't Andy's hobby succeed? How do you understand? Then the penny dropped. How often have you bitten off more than you could chew? Which hobby did Jane start? What is Claire's hobby? What is art photography? What did Claire's sister say about Claire? And now our very last question. What is Claire's sister's idea of good art? And that's all from chapter 42 of The Farm at Lane's End. Farmer Ken will be back next week in chapter 43. Until then, bye-bye for now.